Is there any place in Sharia law for socio-economic justice?
Yes, it is the basic. Every person should have his basic needs, and his basic needs as it is presented in the Quran, in the Sunnah, and in the juristic legacy. It is not just to have a loaf of bread. He should have the goods of life. He should have all the needs in a comfortable way, including food for a considerable time, not for a day, for a week, for a month, for a considerable time, for himself, for his family, clothes, accommodation, and a suitable accommodation, not a tent, not a hut in the jungle. All this should be secured. Otherwise, you cannot say that the person, the thief or whoever, is responsible for taking money because his needs are not fulfilled. Education, because the responsibility, the legal responsibility and the criminal responsibility is just based on education. If he or she doesn't know, then he is not or she is not responsible. And this is an important thing. And in addition to this, you find in civil law, in the law of labor, in everything, you cannot bring a child 10 years old and 12 years old and make him a worker or a laborer and give him pennies. All this is against the principles of Sharia.
I'm curious, what would Sharia say about suing the tobacco companies for millions of dollars for promoting smoking that may cause cancer?
It cannot be allowed at all according to the principles of Sharia. If in war you cannot use a poisoned sword to fight, although it is war and your enemy is expecting you to kill him, what about civilians who do not expect anything and they expect that you are sending to them, exporting this commodity to please them and to make their life more pleasant and more enjoyable, while there is a hidden poison? If you do not know yet, according to scientific research, that there is a harm, you may be excused. But whenever you are sure that there is really a harm, then it is a crime, and it is an international crime.
What about affirmative action? Where does Sharia stand on that?
I believe that it is a principle. It is an application of the principle of justice, and it is not only implied in the principle of justice. There are certain examples in the life of the Prophet in which he applied this affirmative action. After the migration from Mecca to Medina, those Meccans who migrated, they left their homes, they left their money, they left their resources, they left everything. So when war happened later, and there was booty from this war, and according to the Islamic law, it has to be distributed on the fighters. A part should go to the public treasury, and another part should be, as an incentive, should be distributed among the fighters. The Prophet gave those who came from Mecca a more share, or a bigger share, than those who were in Medina before, because they were in their own city, in their own homes, and they are not in any problem if they are compared to those who came from Mecca. Yes, both are Muslims, and both are citizens, and both are going to war because it is a responsibility, it is an obligation, but their circumstances are different. And those who left all their resources should be given a certain privilege over those who are in their homes. Those who were in their homes received these people warmly and generously and everything. But these people should need some special care, some special observation of their case. Accordingly, you cannot say that it is a race among people and anybody who overtakes others should be rewarded, because if it is a race between unequals and you are responsible for the inequality which happened before, and then you cannot have a race between a crippled person and a normal person. You should help this crippled person to participate in the marathon by bringing him a wheelchair, by helping him, by making the marathon only among people on wheelchairs. You should interfere to secure justice among equals, not justice among human beings presupposed or presumed that they are equal.
So it sounds like the Sharia recognizes that socioeconomic justice and public education are actually fundamental for a human being to have full legal responsibility in Islamic legal system.
That is very true. And unless you have, and education is a responsibility, is a right for every person, and it is a duty. And it is a responsibility of the authorities to secure education for the people and to secure also social justice. They have to enforce that all the conditions of work are fair, all the business transactions are fair. So unless social justice is there and the disabled or the sick people and the unemployed get their social security from the public treasury, or at least secured and guaranteed by the public treasury and enforced by law, you cannot say that this person has any full responsibility in doing anything. And education is very, very important.
How about the place of fundamental human rights within the Sharia? How are they addressed?
Human rights are really rights of every human being, every child of Adam, according to the term used by the Quran. All children of Adam should enjoy dignity. And dignity means enjoying rights and fulfilling responsibilities. So all the known rights which we know now, freedom of faith, freedom of expression, freedom of opinion, rights of assembly, of association, are guaranteed and secured and sanctioned by the Islamic law, by Sharia. As a matter of fact, if they are not there and any person is responsible for depriving any person from these basic rights, this person should be punished. And so these basic human rights are there. Equality among people, because sometimes you say people are free, but how equal are they? As it happened in South Africa, equal but segregated, as if segregation is a normal right for the white people, although the country was an African country and originally it was the African people who lived there. So equality is important, and equal opportunities, which is now underlined because it implies social justice, not only equality, moral equality, spiritual equality, which is just merely rhetorics, but to equal opportunity to anything, to what the state does, to what the people offer, to what the corporation give, equality in opportunity. So it is important to have these rights in full, in addition, as I said, to the socio-economic justice and all these things. All these are secured as a precondition and as basic, really, transformation of the society. Penal law should not be applied unless you have really human beings, responsible human beings.
Well, given all of this, how may the goals of such a comprehensive legal system be pointed out?
It is pointed out through the Quran, through the Sunnah, the traditions of the Prophet, and through the elaborations of jurists. They, for example, pointed out the main goals of Islamic law. After going through the details, they could get out or point out or figure out the general principles. So they say that the goals of Islamic law is to secure for every human being, number one, the essentials, number two, the needs, which are less than essentials, but they are still needed to have a comfortable life. Number three, the refinement, that the Islamic law does not only secure the essentials and the needs, but also the refinement, that every person should have a margin for refined life, for a decent life, not only from hand to mouth. And that is in certain fields, these three levels should be fulfilled in the field of human life, in the field of the family as an extension of the human life, in the field of the human mind through education and culture and so on, in the field of property and the right of ownership, in the field of freedom of faith. In all fields, these three levels should be fulfilled. For example, in life, it is not enough that you should be protected against being murdered or killed or to live safely. No, you should have a comfortable life. You should have a comfortable house. And the refinement, you should see the difference between the beautiful thing and the ugly thing, although both are fulfilling a certain need. So you should have food, but good food. You should have clothing, but beautiful clothing. You should have a house or an accommodation, but a beautiful accommodation. You should enjoy all the refinements which is there in the area of protecting your life or protecting your family or protecting your mind. Not protecting your mind just by not being drunk, but you should be nurtured. This mind should be nurtured. You should have culture. You should have education to reach the level not only of the essentials of the need or the needs, but also of the refinement.